So the form that LeBron is holding while he's going through his pro training to protect his feet and his ankles is called a chest lift. It's very subtle. It does not look cool in the gym, and it is extremely painful and awful if you're doing it right. So a really good way to find that form is to do the roll down that we did before, and then allow whatever your kind of neutral back is going to be. So we're not sitting down here and taking a break. We're just going to bring the elbows into peripheral vision, and this is only to get the shoulders out of the way. We just want the shoulders to drop back and down by playing a trick and putting them at 45 degrees here. You're going to really have to tuck your chin and hold. This spot on the solar plexus is what's holding me up. So if you feel this in your neck, you're using the wrong muscles. You need to pull yourself up from here. And then you're just going to bring a fingertip touch just to get the shoulders out of the way, and you'll feel that load right here on the side. So you want to be really miserable across here and hold that. And that's called a chest lift. And if you have trouble with that, you might have some issues, because the chest lift requires the ribs to roll inside the spine. It requires what's called flexion here. So it's really cool. You're rolling actually around your liver, and two sides of your lungs are rolling. So if you're stiff and you don't have flexibility in your rib cage, this chest lift may be really, really difficult. It doesn't matter. It's going to be hard because you have a lot of musculature, but LeBron's able to get it up to where his shoulders are off. So for a big guy, that's huge. For delicate flowers like myself, you know, we can probably come up a little bit higher because I don't have an extra 10 pounds of muscle mass here. But for guys to hold this, you see this is flexion. It means it's curling and rolling through the rib bones. And I think a lot of the things that I'll see is folks will get really tight through here, and that's bad for several reasons. But in particular, for anybody who's playing a sport that requires a high level of VO2 max, any stiffness in these ribs translates directly into poor performance, period. Because you need to have flexibility in the rib cage here in order to send breath into this upper right lung. And so this chest lift really is as much about training for optimal performance. All of this taking, and you're going to curl. You'll suck up and in through here. You're not going to use the lumbar erectors. There's my natural arch. It kind of flattens out a little bit, and you'll see this is really round for me in the rib cage. Everybody's shape is going to be a little bit different, but this is firing, this is firing, this is firing, this is firing, this is firing. I'm not real happy right now talking about this, right? The only place I've got to breathe is a little bit right here and back here in the upper lung, and that's a very realistic athletic breathing pattern. So if you can like take breaths, take a little bit of breath into there, but get into the upper back lungs. So sorry yoga, because yoga people teaching us to breathe diaphragmatically, which is taking these big deep belly breaths. That's a relaxed breath. So next time you go to the spa, definitely breathe into the belly. But if you're going to do sports and athletics and you're going to work on your versatility and core integration, breathing is going to be a big part of that. Breathing is going to be a big part of that. Forcing yourself to control to hold this. I mean, that's the sprint. That's the extra little something, something to sprint to the finish. That's struggling in the paint for a rebound. That's making quick dodges in the paint. Just that extra little bit, training yourself to stay in it and not break the core form, requires sophisticated integrated breathing patterns, and it will definitely make you stronger and more resilient and more resistant to injury. But again, this chest lift really is about rolling the ribs, having flexibility in the ribs. These little things called intercostals, all this stuff runs and wraps in this rib cage. So if you are tight there and you can't roll up, meaning you got the muscle, but you feel, stuck in your upper back, then you've got to go look for some nice passive, safe way to get your what's called your thoracic flexion back, just some mobility through your upper spine. So the extension, flexion, you should be able to do some moves like that above the lumbar. The lumbar doesn't have to do everything in life. You can do a little bit of extension, a little bit of flexion here, and just attention to that detail should really increase overall sport performance. prevent a lot of injuries, but in particular allows you to have dynamic breathing across all the parts of your lungs, which is what you're going to need to be athletic, for sure. So that helps.